Very good afternoon. You're watching the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. All the developing news stories at the top of this hour coming up ahead. Let us start with the headlines. Electioneering focus shifts to second and third phase polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says his government is one of the most strong and decisive one. At a rally in Maharashtra's Ahmednagar, asks electorate to choose between honest chowkidar and corrupt namdar. Rahul Gandhi holds a campaign rally in Krishnagiri in Tamil Nadu. BJP chief Amit Shah to lend weight to party's campaign in Odisha's Keonjhar and in Chhattisgarh. BJD's Naveen Patnaik in Suvampur and NCP's Sharad Pawar to campaign in Kolhapur. Banks must make use of technology and data analytics to recognize early warning signs of loan defaults, says Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu. Also asks them to collaborate with intelligence agencies on financial fraud and bank accounts. And at least 16 killed, over 30 injured in a bomb blast at Pakistan's Quetta city. Death toll expected to rise further. No group claims responsibility for the attack. First of all, the news related to the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. Campaigning for the remaining 6 phases of Lok Sabha elections has gained momentum, with senior leaders of various political parties travelling across the country to canvass for their candidates. Now addressing a public rally in Ahmednagar in Maharashtra, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a jibe at Congress President Rahul Gandhi and asked the voters to choose between honest chowkidar and corrupt namdar. He also asserted that his government has been the most decisive and strong one in the recent years.
एक तरफ हमारे संकल्प है, वहीं दूसरी तरफ कांग्रेस एनसीपी के ढकोसले हैं। एक तरफ पानी के लिए महायुति सरकार के काम है, तो दूसरी तरफ कांग्रेस सरकार में हुए घोटाले और अजीत परिवार के शर्मनाक बयान है। ऐसे ही अपराधों की वजह से देश के लोगों ने कांग्रेस का मन और कांग्रेस की नीयत को अच्छी तरह जान लिया है, पहचान लिया है, और इसलिए अब जनता ने ही नया नारा दे दिया है, कांग्रेस हमेशा के लिए हटाओ। कांग्रेस हमेशा के लिए हटाओ, तभी देश में गरीबी दूर होगी।
And Prime Minister Modi will also address poll rallies in Karnataka's Gangavati and in Kerala's Kozhikode later today. All right. Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier was seen in Maharashtra, where he campaigned for his party's candidate there. And in Maharashtra, of course, the first phase of election took place yesterday. And the remaining phases, of course, electioneering, the campaigning has gained momentum. All the political leaders, top political leaders, are going across the state, not only in Maharashtra, but across the country, to campaign for their candidates in the rest of the election phases. Ravindra Singh Shuran is joining us from Nanded in Maharashtra at the moment. Ravindra, of course, first phase of election in Maharashtra concluded yesterday successfully, and today we saw all the other phases, as far as the other phases are concerned. Electioneering has gained momentum. Of course, Prime Minister Modi there in Ahmednagar. telling people to choose between an honest chowkidar and corrupt namdar. But speaking about Nanded, because you are in Nanded at the moment, it is in Marathwada region. It is one of the crucial seats that the Congress party had managed to win, in 2014 out of the 48, despite the Modi wave. What kind of challenges the BJP facing here? All right, there seems to be a technical glitch there. We'll try to connect back to our reporter there. Meanwhile, Congress President Rahul Gandhi also addressed a public rally in Krishnagiri in Tamil Nadu today. He said that his government, we will never let the people of Tamil Nadu be ruled by any other state. He asserted that M.K. Stalin is going to be the chief minister of the state. And looking at the other rallies that are slated for the day today, BJP National President Amit Shah will visit Odisha's Keonjhar, where he, during his one-day visit, will address a public rally at the Keonjhar Medical College ground to woo the voters. BJP National President had earlier come to the state on 9th of April, and he will again visit Odisha on 17th of April for poll campaigning. And thereafter, he will travel to Rajnandgaon in Chhattisgarh, where the party has fielded Santosh Pandey to contest the seat. All right, now we understand that Ravindra is joining us on the phone line from Maharashtra's Nanded district. Ravindra, as you were telling us, how significant the battle for Nanded is going to be, because this is one of the Congress's bastion, and the BJP is looking to wrest this seat from the Congress this time.
Yes, Aishwarya, good afternoon. And this is quite an important constituency as well. The Congress perspective is Congress. If we talk about Nanded specifically, in the last 19 elections which Nanded has faced, including the by-elections, Congress could manage to win this seat for the 16th time. It shows that this is the bastion of the Congress party. This seat has been represented by the two former chief ministers, including Shankar Rao Chauhan, who was a former chief minister, Ashok Chauhan, who is also a former chief minister, and has been fielded again in this time by the Congress party from Nanded Lok Sabha. Ashok Rao Chauhan, who was the chief minister and had to resign following the wake of the Adarsh housing scam, he is quite confident this time that he may be able to regain the seat again for the Congress party. In the last election, 2014, which was quite an important election, the BJP could manage to win 40 out of 48, total 41 seats with the help of Shiv Sena and other alliance partners. Today, while addressing a rally in nearby in Ahmednagar, that is a part of northern Maharashtra, and which is going for the polls, Marathwada and some seats of northern Maharashtra in next, second and third phase of the election. The BJP is trying to woo the voters by showing the achievements of the last 5 years of the central Modi government as well as the state government led by Devendra Fadnavis. The party today, the Prime Minister, while addressing rally, has said that this is a corruption-free regime which the BJP could manage to give to the people of this country in the last 5 years. Now this is for the people to decide whether they would like to go ahead with the same corruption-free, clean government, or they would vote for a corrupt regime which they have seen in the last 10 years at the time of UPA, when UPA dispensation was in power starting from 2004 to the 14, which the country has seen a lot of corruption issues. And also, the Prime Minister today launched a scathing attack on the NCP, the leader of the NCP, Sharad Pawar. The Prime Minister asked why such a stalwart Maratha leader is keeping mum on the issue of the allies partner of the UPA regarding the two prime ministers should be there in this country. Remember, a National Conference leader, Umar Abdullah, has suggested that there should be two prime ministers in this country. Prime Minister has launched the attack and asking why Sharad Pawar is keeping mum. Also, Prime Minister has said that a lot of schemes which has been started by the NDA regime for the health and the welfare of the farmers in this area of Marathwada and Vidarbha specifically. So the high decibel campaign is going on. The leader of all the political parties are here camping again after the first phase of the voting. And now all eyes are on 3 remaining phases, which northern Maharashtra and Marathwada will go for poll in the rest of the 3 phases. This is an important state which has 48 seats. After Uttar Pradesh is the second largest number of seats. So all the political parties are trying hard to gain the confidence of the voters so that it can finally increase the tally of the UPA or NDA allies. Aishwarya.
And as you mentioned about the Marathwada region, how significant, how important this region is. But, you must have spoken to the people, common man out there. Ravindra, tell us what are the key issues for them?
Aishwarya, this Marathwada region, which is the most important region of the second and third phase, is this region has seen a lot of chief ministers. Many of the chief ministers who has ruled this Marathwada region has given them. But despite of this, the farmers of this area, they have been in distress and deprived of even the basic amenities. And this is the main issue. And that is also the poverty is also one of the issues. And migration is also the issue which the people of this the Marathwada region are facing. Water scarcity, the paucity of water is the issue. The death of the farmers is also an issue. We have seen in the past that many farmers, they're forced to commit suicide. But the BJP is of the view that they have launched a lot of welfare schemes for the help of the farmers. And those schemes are quite fruitful now. And BJP will be able to gain a lot of seats in the 2019 elections with the help of Shiv Sena and other allies. Reason being the welfare scheme and infrastructure development work which has been started by the central and the state government are quite helpful for the people of this area.
All right. So Maharashtra is voting in 4 phases, Ravindra, and of course one of the phases was yesterday, and the remaining 3 phases are left. Thank you so much, Ravindra, for all those updates from Nanded there, which falls, of course, under the Marathwada region, which is also very significant, and it is going to cast votes in the 2nd and the 3rd phases. And today is the last date for the withdrawal of candidature for the 4th phase of Lok Sabha elections. In this phase, polling will take place in 71 Lok Sabha constituencies across 9 states on 29th of April. Nominations for 4th phase began with the issue of notification on 2nd of April. Campaigning for this phase will end on 27th of April. Voting will be held in 17 seats in Maharashtra, 13 seats each in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh, 6 seats each in Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, 8 seats in West Bengal and 5 in Bihar, 3 in Jharkhand and 1 seat in Jammu and Kashmir. And even for the Odisha Assembly, today is the last date for the withdrawal of candidature for the 4th phase of elections. Polling here will also be held on 29th of April. And following directions from the Election Commission, social networking platforms such as Twitter, WhatsApp and Facebook have removed more than 500 posts, advertisements, accounts and other objectionable content found to be violating the Model Code of Conduct between 10th and 11th of April. Facebook reported and removed 468 posts. These posts included the violations of poll code and voter misinformation. Microblogging site Twitter also removed 2 accounts, while action on 39 others is awaited. Election Commission informed that the account on one WhatsApp user from Manipur was disabled for spreading content promoting animosity between various communities. Between 10th of March and 9th of April, the media platforms have removed 6 such contents. And the Election Commission has seized unaccounted cash, illicit liquor, drugs, gold and freebies worth over 2,385 crore rupees since the Model Code of Conduct came into effect. In a statement, the Election Commission said that it has seized over 575 crore rupees cash from all over the country. It has also seized drugs and narcotics worth 1,089 crore rupees. Precious metals worth 486 crore rupees, liquor worth 192 crore rupees and freebies worth 41 crore rupees. Those were all the election-related news. Let's get to some other news. A three-judge bench of the Supreme Court directed all the political parties to submit the details of the donations received through electoral bonds till 15th of May to the Election Commission. The Apex Court said that it will examine in detail the changes made in the income tax law, electoral law and banking laws to make them in consonance with the electoral bond scheme and ensure that balance does not tilt in the favor of any political party. And the HRD Ministry on Thursday appointed vice-chancellors to 3 universities after the Election Commission gave its nod for the model code of conduct is in place due to the Lok Sabha elections. The 3 universities are Jamia Millia Islamia Mahatma Gandhi Central University in Motihari and Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya in Wardha. While no appointments are allowed during this period, the HRD Ministry had approached the Election Commission seeking its nod, arguing that the selection process was complete before the model code came into place. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu released a commemorative postage stamp and a coffee table book to mark the 125th Foundation Day of the Punjab National Bank today. He also felicitated the great-grandchildren of Lala Lajpat Rai, who was one of the most prominent leaders of India's struggle for independence and one of the founders of the bank. Addressing the event, the Vice President said that the banks must adhere strictly to the principles of business ethics and good corporate governance. He also stressed that banks can make use of technology and data analytics to recognize early warning signs of loan defaulting and evolve robust mechanisms to identify hidden NPAs. He also said that India must enter into more intelligence exchange treaties on financial fraud and bank accounts and work with international agencies.
Increasing cases of willful defaults and the frauds have recently been in the news. Few black ships brought bad name to the system. I've been going around different countries. I've been to various forums. I have been strongly advocating that all the countries must have treaties to exchange information with regard to bank accounts, wherever necessary, wanted by the government or the agencies. Second, we must also have extradition treaties. Otherwise, you just root here and then go and then stay there and then a lot of legal process. This is a time-taking process and people are becoming impatient. If you are a civilized world, the world must put this question to themselves, are we civilized? Then how are you allowing tax havens? How are you encouraging black money? This is a question to be put to by every nation to themselves. And if you are civilized, if you are really democratic, you must all come together and have extradition treaties. Wherever somebody is wanted, they should be extradited at the earliest. This is the need of the hour.
In midday news, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the international and sports news. Stay tuned.
Grandfather told that he escaped by hiding himself under the stage. Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal, they were to preside that meeting, but they were arrested on the 10th of April actually.
We cannot understand Jallianwala Bagh in isolation. It has to be seen in the context of the political developments in India at that time, and also what was happening in Punjab.
Welcome back after the break. News from Pakistan, where a bomb blast ripped through a local vegetable market in Quetta city today early morning, killing at least 16 people and injuring several others. According to media reports, the security forces fear that the death toll may rise. Buildings located nearby were also damaged in the blast. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack. And WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange was arrested on Thursday from London. He was arrested after a British court found him guilty of breaching his bail conditions in 2012. This after the Ecuador embassy in London withdrew the asylum that was granted to Assange, who was staying in the country's embassy in London for the last 7 years. Assange, who faces a sentence of up to 12 months, was remanded into custody. He will face another court hearing on 2nd of May on a request made by the United States for his extradition for alleged computer hacking. Big story coming in from Sudan, where the military has ousted President Omar al-Bashir in a coup following months of intense anti-government protests against the long-serving dictator. General Awad of Sudan's defense minister and former vice president announced al-Bashir's overthrow, telling the country al-Bashir had been arrested and that his regime had been toppled. However, large crowds have remained on the streets of the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, ignoring a nighttime curfew declared by the country's new military council. Now, demonstrators say that the military council is part of the same regime. The fresh standoff has raised fears of a violent confrontation between the protesters and the army. Many nations, including the US, UK, and the United Nations and the African Union, have issued calls for calm.
The United States strongly supports a peaceful and democratic Sudan. As events unfold, the United States continues to call on transitional authorities to exercise restraint and to allow space for civilian participation within the government. We commend the people of Sudan for their resiliency and their commitment to nonviolence as they express their legitimate demand for inclusive and representative government that respects and protects human rights.
And some sports news now. PV Sindhu has entered the semi-finals of the Singapore Open today with a hard-fought 21-13, 17-21, 21-14 victory over China's Yan Kai. However, Saina Nehwal's campaign ended at the hands of Japan's Nozomi Okuhara. She lost in straight games 21-8, 21-13 in one-sided quarter-final clash. And in the men's singles, Samir Verma will today face the Taiwanese opponent in the quarterfinals, and Kidambi Srikanth will take on Japan's Kento Momota today in the other quarterfinals. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.